Powerful Ariane 5 rocket launches 3 satellites to orbit. A powerful European rocket sent 3 satellites to Earth orbit on Tuesday, December 13. An Ariane 5 rocket lifted off from Europe's Spaceport in French Guiana on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The rocket's star payload was Eumetsat's Meteosat third-generation Imager 1, which will allow for rapid detection and forecasting of severe weather events, according to a statement by Arianespace, the French company that operates the Ariane 5. Welcome back to the Space Gaze. Before we proceed, kindly subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated when we release new videos. Without further delay, let's dive in. The rocket vaulted off the launch pad and arced east from French Guiana over the Atlantic Ocean, surpassing the speed of sound in less than a minute as the boosters and core stage engine combined to generate 2.9 million pounds of thrust. The strap-on boosters burned out and jettisoned a little more than 2 minutes into the mission, and the Swiss-made nose cone on top of the Ariane 5 separated about a minute later to reveal the 3 satellite payloads to the space environment after the rocket soared above the dense lower layers of the atmosphere. The core stage shut down its main engine nearly 9 minutes into the mission, then fell away to head for a destructive re-entry in the Gulf of Guinea off the west coast of Africa. The Ariane 5's cryogenic upper stage, assembled in Germany, ignited its HM-7B engine for a 16-minute firing to place the Meteosat weather satellite and Intelsat's Galaxy 35 and 36 communication spacecraft into an elliptical geostationary transfer orbit. The targeted orbit for the 3 satellites ranged as far as 22,316 miles, 35,915 kilometers, from Earth, with an orbital plane inclined 6 degrees to the equator. The Galaxy 35 and 36 satellites, built in California by Maxar, were stacked on top of the other for launch in the upper position of the Ariane 5's payload compartment. Ariane 5 rockets typically launch 2 large satellites per mission, but engineers added a riser to the connection between the upper stage and the payload fairing to create more volume for 3 payloads on Tuesday's flight. Below Intelsat's Galaxy satellites, cocooned inside a carbon composite payload adapter structure, was Europe's first Meteosat third-generation weather satellite, developed in partnership between the European Space Agency and Eumetsat, Europe's weather satellite agency consisting of 30 member states. Galaxy 35 deployed from the rocket first, about 27.5 minutes after liftoff, followed by the release of Galaxy 36 nearly 31 minutes into the mission. The composite payload adapter separated next, exposing the Meteosat satellite for deployment nearly 35 minutes after launch. Officials from Arianespace, the Ariane 5's operator, declared the launch a success. It was the 259th launch by a rocket in Europe's Ariane launch vehicle family since 1979, and the 115th flight of the Ariane 5 version since 1996. With the successful launch of VA-259, Arianespace is proud to serve the interests of Eumetsat and Intelsat, 2 operators with whom we have been working since 1981 and 1983, respectively, said Stefani Israel, CEO of Arianespace. This mission serves both Europe and North America, and is a perfect illustration of the versatility of our heavy-lift launcher, which is capable of meeting the needs of both institutional and commercial operators. Its passengers also reflect our own values, which are to make space work for a better life on Earth by improving our meteorological knowledge and connectivity. Officials from Maxar and the European Space Agency confirmed ground teams in California and Italy established contact with all 3 satellites. Each of the spacecraft extended their power-generating solar panels Tuesday evening. Galaxy 35 and 36 will use their own propulsion systems to reach a circular geostationary orbit more than 22,000 miles, nearly 36,000 kilometers, over the equator, a process that will take a few weeks using a series of thruster firings to reshape its orbit. The satellites will enter service early next year to provide C-band television broadcast services over the United States, part of a transition mandated by the Federal Communications Commission, to free up a slice of the C-band spectrum for terrestrial 5G broadband connectivity. The transition to 5G requires satellite operators like Intelsat to build and launch new satellites to maintain their C-band programming for cable TV networks in the United States. The new C-band satellites are designed to operate in a more narrow segment of the C-band spectrum, permitting other frequencies to switch over to 5G services. The Galaxy 35 and 36 satellites are designed for 15-year missions to replace aging members of Intelsat's fleet launched in 2002 and 2005 and operating at 89 degrees west and 95 degrees west longitude. Galaxy 35 and 36 are the fifth and sixth new C-band satellites Intelsat has launched this year. 4 new Intelsat C-band spacecraft launched on a pair of SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets earlier this year, and a 7th and final new C-band payload will launch on a SpaceX mission in 2023. Our Galaxy 35 and Galaxy 36 satellites are part of our North American fleet refresh, said Jean-Luc Froliger, Intelsat's Vice President of Space Systems. They'll be used by media customers to provide live broadcasting of news, entertainment, and sports events. The weather satellite launched on the Ariane 5 rocket Tuesday is the first of 6 spacecraft in Europe's €4.3 billion, $4.5 billion, Meteosat third generation, or MTG, program. It is heading for a position in geostationary orbit to begin a planned 8.5-year service life parked at the intersection of the equator and the prime meridian 0 degrees latitude and 0 degrees longitude, centered over a point south of the Ivory Coast. The first MTG satellite carries a rapid scan imaging instrument, a lightning detector, and radios to support search and rescue services. The spacecraft will be renamed Meteosat 12 after it enters service next year, becoming the primary source of satellite weather observations for real-time forecasting in Europe and Africa. The MTG program will consist of 4 imaging satellites, known as MTGI missions, to look at movements of storm systems, weather fronts, and lightning. There will also be 2 Meteosat third-generation spacecraft with infrared sounders, called MTGS missions, to measure temperatures, moisture, and other parameters throughout Earth's atmosphere. The new generation of European weather satellites will provide more advanced warning of thunderstorms, tornadoes, and flooding rainfall. The Meteosat satellites are also used to track wildfires, volcanic ash, and ice clouds in the upper atmosphere that could impact aviation. We need better short-range forecasts, looking at the next few hours ahead, to help emergency responders to take the correct kind of action, both to put their resources in place when they need to respond to incident, and also to give them a heads up when the worst of the weather has passed so they can begin the recovery effort, said Simon Keogh, Head of Space Applications and Nowcasting Research and Development at the UK Met Office. The first MTG sounder satellite is scheduled for launch in late 2024, and a second MTG imager satellite is slated to blast off in 2026. 2 more imaging satellite and 1 more sounding satellite will launch in the early 2030s to maintain coverage through at least 2040. With these satellites coming together, we'll be able to monitor, for the first time, the atmospheric conditions, which are the precursor to a severe weather event. Severe weather events rising actually as they occur, and the most intense places through the lightning images, Evans said. Eumetsat provided most of the funding for the 6-satellite MTG program, paying for the design of the overall system, launch services, operations, and data exploitation. ESA managed the procurement of the satellites. That's all I have for you guys for today. If you liked watching this video, please make sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so that you may be notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching.